back, fellow armchair generals, to Unity of Command 2. This is Gamer 1745. This is the Wadi Akarit, or the Italian problem currently. This is currently I'm seeing this as the Italian problem here. And the reason these guys are the problem, the 136 DC Giovanni Fascists. These guys are hardcore, they're veterans, and they've been out of supply for 2 turns, but they still have a lot of organization. We can look up here, and we go experience regular here, just some 91st Italians, infantry regiment, but these are our problems. So, and this is, oh, undo. This is our problem, is all of these units up here are out of command range and are also out of supply. So we need to take that railway. More than we just simply need to press on, though we do need to press on. So, that attack would be disastrous. This attack would just be okay, and okay. Now, what we're going to do here is focus in. Instead of hitting this, would be nice to sort of get the prestige of taking that by 4 turns. We're going to get this. Okay, not maybe as good as result as I wanted. Okay, oh, still not so good. No, we had to take that. No prisoners straggling, holding that. Now, before we go on with that, we have see if there are anybody here we can emergency supply them. We'll do so. And I guess we will also get them an emergency supply. Now, I also want to move, do that before we move. Let's move up to here. No. Not letting us move up there. Oh, okay. Well, let's recon up this way. Now, can we move? Yeah. We want to move to Sapax. That will put most of these units in operational control again. Now, this unit here, which is mostly suppressed, but I want to get this roadway to get proper control, so we're going to push you guys hard. There we go. Now, since we just moved, we can't do any more emergency supply, but at least these guys are now in command and control range. All right. Here we're having another supply issue, but I think we can deal with it by actually taking out some of these units here. They were mostly all suppressed. Now they're mostly suppressed, but still. Okay, now these guys are within. Oh no, they're not. We gotta get these. Well, I was hoping to get supplies or command range around that way. Well, okay, they fall back there. Now there's a lot of prisoners there. So let's take them, which helps our prestige here. Now we can do emergency supply here, which will unsuppress half that unit. We can get moving. Keep mixing up right or left click with this. Like I just did there. Okay, so that is... There's still a lot of prisoners there, and there's some there that we need to deal with. Stragglers, I should say, not prisoners. Just trying not to cause too many traffic jams with movement. Now, here, there may be ways to push harder here. That would be a good push there. That would be actually a great push. So let's come here. Okay, well, we really messed up these Italian, the 50th Brigade Imperiale. A little worried about being flanked here, but I think this is worth it, I think. Yeah, let's move up here. Ooh. Oh, undo. See, I want to click on this unit, and it's okay. Yeah, I think moving this one into the area command of this HQ is not maybe the best move. But if we were to come to here, attack here, it suppressed one of ours. Yeah, we'll advance, closing this into a pocket here. So hopefully we're continuing to reduce their supply. Well, these guys will most likely be out of supply, though they already are. Okay, well, out of command range. Let's move this up to here. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. That will put them more firmly in place, though these guys are now out of it. No, we'll just let them be out of it for now. We should have emergency resupplied them if we could have before moving the HQ. Okay, well. comes our infantry, the Indians. Yep, we failed to take this pass in time. They're still out of. But I think instead we're going to move them forward here. Now we want to see if we can emergency. Well, they can do that. These guys can't. I think we need to just let that unit rest a bit. Now that they are completely suppressed, let's push into them like we just did. Okay. See if these New Zealanders can march. Okay, well, no emergency. Okay, well, let's see. We're going to I think to here and get everybody into supply and command zone for this turn for the 2nd U.S. Army here. 2nd Corps. Yeah, that could maybe help us take this pass this turn. Now we do have the air attack this turn. Okay, well, I want to take out all of these here, but okay, they're no longer in supply. infantry, the German SG, first German SG, security guards? Don't know. Maybe made up of stragglers. Okay, we're gonna hit them here. Boom. And we're going to take the pass. That isn't the pass. Oh, it's this town that we're supposed to take? Oh well. Thought this was a pass. Never mind. See what I know here. Okay, well, then let's see. We're gonna bomb this town. Boom. Nope, we're just gonna... I know. High command. Oh, we can... Right around here. Nobody can make it there this turn. Okay, well, we're just letting you rest. Yeah, you probably all know what I have clicked and what I haven't. Okay. Not entirely satisfied, but alright, alright. Nobody that they can reach. None of these guys have moved, so yeah, oh well. End turn. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, that after that attack they just simply be back. Objective failed, yeah, we failed. Okay, let's see, 7 turns. We're on 6 turns, they want us to take up to there. These guys are all fully suppressed. Well, there we go, that's much better. Well, maybe we can actually move up into there. Let's see. Well, it looks like it is open. It looks like it is available. So we're going to use our armor. Okay, so we've got that. They left that open. Okay. The 7th Brigade Armored. 7th Armored Brigade. The Desert Rats, I believe. Or am I mistaking that? Could be. No. None of those look to be terribly good options. But I don't know that it's... very much of an option. These guys can just be eliminated, so we're going to... Oh, that was a very good airstrike for a city. Oh, can they occupy the... Occupy the city and round up the prisoners. Since they're so highly suppressed, we're going to use that. They were surrounded their Italian HQ, and the DAC and the Panzer Army Africa is north there and cut off from just about everybody. Oh, undo bloody hell. See, when I want to click on the headquarters, I don't like that Here we go, okay. So they can be supplied up and around this way. That's around through the south. That's what I was questioning here. Just want to really make sure I'm cutting them off. Okay, so turn 6, we've gotten at least the major objectives taken. And they counter-strike. Okay, good. Well, you figured they might. And end of scenario. That's what I was hoping for. Okay, so they recovered the logistics, yes, because we've been moving the HQs up. So ends, or nearly so, there's Tunis, the Deutsches Afrika Corps, and Italy's fourth shore. I was wondering how I was going to say that. Many of you who watch my channel know that I talk about the history and things surrounding the games. Now, mention the fourth shore. That's what it was called during at least Mussolini's time. It may predate Mussolini coming to power. Now, it's sort of the idea that there's the east, west, and sort of south coast of Italy. Not exactly sure, is it just the, foot, like around Taranto and Calabria, whether that's the third shore, the south, or is it the islands, Sicily and Sardinia, but definitely the east and west coast. Although they were promoting Italian immigration to particularly Abyssinia, there's a lot of propaganda around and a lot of model towns, and they're not cities, they were towns built along the Tripolitanian and Cyrenaican. See, they were and also those were two considered very different areas. And I understand culturally they still sort of are. Now this is, of course, we're all the way up into French Tunisia here, but it was really only the, at least this was my understanding, really only the Italians that sort of formed Libya, where like under the Ottomans and others before, they were considered Tripolitania, or that sort of part of the coast, and Cyrenaica over in the east. It's sort of two different areas, regions, provinces, depending on who we're talking about, Rome, Ottomans, whatever. But it was the Italians that sort of put them together, and I think we see some of the problems. I think, and it's been shifting a lot, but Cyrenaica is sort of a even more of a failed state than Tripolinia that we're seeing from modern day post-Gaddafi Libya. Thank Hillary Clinton for that. Those of you who like her policies, she's the one that caused the chaos. Literally her. I came, I saw, he died. Ha 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 ha! Was her comment, I think, exactly quoting, including the laugh. Though she has her cackle a little bit better down than I do. And so along the coast, they were building sort of town centers with some housing, but the idea of like a modern electricity, modern plumbing in sort of a town center to hopefully attract eventually large numbers of Italian settlers to really turn Libya into the fourth shore of Italy. And as far as I can tell, there isn't more than the average strain, shall we say, of Europeans thinking non-Europeans are somehow racially inferior in the fascist mindset. There isn't anything more than that. There isn't the Nazi, racial views with Mussolini's fascism, and especially I see it in European areas, that the fascist government just wants to turn everybody into Italians. It's a more of a cultural viewpoint than a racial viewpoint, as far as I can tell. Now, I could be wrong about that, and the reason I say things like that is because I don't consume a lot of fascist, original works of, even translated in English, of the fascist thinkers, but also I don't read Italian, so there may be, slights or comments that I'm not picking up on. But as far as I understand it, it is, yes, nationalistic, but they're willing to entertain others becoming Italians. Now, I don't know how much, shall we say, the indigenous population, as well as the relatively recent incoming population of Arabs are not indigenous to Libya, as far as I understand. They are purely a post-Mohammedan import to North Africa. They're Berbers and others that have been pushed, that are now minority populations there, that had been the indigenous population of North Africa, and it is not Arabs. So for all you modern social justice warriors, yes, Arabs are colonizers of North Africa. They all come from, where is it? Oh yeah, Arabia, other side of Egypt. It's the Coptic Egyptians that were the natives in Egypt. They get overrun. There is massive scorched earth, massive killings of non-Arabs in North Africa as the Mohammedans, the Islamicists, move across North Africa. And so I don't know what long-term the Italians were thinking with the peoples that were there before, like the Berbers. I think the Berbers are a bit more Tunisia, Algeria, I think, but I don't know, whatever the groups that were there before, as well as the Arabs, how much that they would have been allowed to, go to Italian schools and eventually in a few generations just become Italian, or whether they would have been treated as populations to be removed. But there was definitely this fourth shore dream of the Italian fascists. Rome was a remarkably inclusive idea, and I'm talking of the Roman Republic, the Roman Empire. It was inclusion, as opposed to exclusion, was its main sort of viewpoint. And of course, it was the Nuovo Romano Imperium or whatever that Mussolini was trying to do. So he definitely wanted to rule over these regions, and I think Italianify, however you want to say it, these people. So that, I think, was what Mussolini's wanting to do. My understanding here, and this is the end of that, and we can see it turns out to be a failed experiment in the modern day situation. And I say that is because we can look at something like, oh, modern day Somalia is a failed state. Somaliland, which no other government recognizes, but is a functioning government with a functioning currency. I mean, they have their own currency. Is the former British colony in what had is still internationally recognized as Somalia, but the British colonized area has been able to function and create a functioning state without terrorism, without Al-Shabaab, without that stuff. It's just because of, you know, various government problems in different places that no one will recognize them because, hey, if European Union countries were to recognize Somaliland, why wouldn't they recognize Catalonia? Or, I don't know, what, Basque? What would be the Basque land? Or what, you know, call that? Or other breakaway, like Scotland or whatever, other breakaway parts of countries that would want to, you know, go independent. So you find that all over. It was long civil war to finally get South Sudan to be recognized as a, you know, breakaway. And Eritrea is another one that was hard fought. And so Somaliland is fighting for its recognition, but I sort of look at it as, generally speaking, the Horn of Africa out there, where Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia, you had the most functioning independent state of all of them, including Ethiopia, is the British colony, and the other ones aren't. So I have to look as other than, you know, who colonized them. They're all, well, no, I would have to say Ethiopia is a bit different culturally because they're sort of very ancient Christian types, where the rest are Muslim. So that does have a thing. But between, you know, places like Djibouti, which is propped up by France, and ultimately the US and now China, with big naval bases in there that pump in lots of money for a desert shithole, is the reason it's doing okay. And all of those various security elements, France, US, and now China, want to keep terrorists out, so they'll make sure that the local government isn't too badly run, and make sure that, you know, if any terrorists raise their head locally, you know, special action teams from some of those countries will show up and put bullets into them. So that's why Djibouti is functioning as well as it is. We see Somalia is just chaos. Then sort of Somalia and sort of the Mogadishu government region is chaos. Puntland is got its recent wealth from, they were the ones that's sort of north of Mogadishu, but not west enough to be in Somaliland. Puntland up there, sort of more on the actual horn point of it, is where all of the Somali pirates came from, or most of them came from Puntland. And then you have Ogaden, which is sort of the interior desert province that was fought over between Somalia and Ethiopia during the 70s and the Cold War. Kind of revolutionary guerrillas. Is also another area of chaos that really is not functionally, culturally part of Ethiopia, which is the more mountainous region. The Ogaden is a sort of flat, deserty area. Different sort of tribal groups there that don't care what goes on in Addis Ababa as any idea of nationality or whatever. And so all that area has just been chaos since, well, for written history, but we can see the different rulers there, and why places like Somaliland and Kenya and even places like Zambia are doing better than Italian-run colonies. So the colonizers had greater effects than I think modern people, I would say, want to acknowledge, as opposed to even just willing or do acknowledge. They don't want to acknowledge that the colonizers had significant effects and potentially significantly positive effects. The difference between France colonized Algeria, which they were, again, Algeria, at least the major coastal regions, not so much the interior desert, but the major coastal regions were considered part of metropolitan France, and France was trying to bring in the local populations into that system. And look at Libya, just along the coast, and how much more chaotic it is, and needed to be held together by a crazy dictator for so long. And when that falls, so I definitely look at that stuff. So that's my sort of little historical talk on Italian colonialism and how it failed, without going into details, because I don't know specifically, other than how the Italian colonizers treated their people is what determined that. So yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I would love to hear from you about any of these topics, subjects. Please post below. See you next time for more historical gaming.